Hi everybody, this is Lovely Bessie. Every leader and entrepreneur should have some, hopefully, a lot of self-respect and very little of pride. We can't all say that we don't have pride in us because every now and again it does come out, but we need to understand it and know it and resist it. And your pride can definitely and should definitely not make decisions for you. Now, what's the difference between self-respect and pride? Self-respect is essentially valuing yourself enough, having enough value in yourself, in who you are, to set boundaries. Okay. The difference with pride and where pride comes in is where it makes it difficult for you to be teachable. Pride and arrogance they are synonymous and they go hand in hand, because people who their pride comes out a lot and a lot more than others and it comes out to play, they tend to be less teachable. And what I find with them as business people is that they tend to blame somebody else. Taking ownership is not really something that a person with pride does. They will think that they are taking ownership, but they really don't, because if they take ownership, then you should see some change. And because of that, people that have pride in business, they tend to stumble a lot because they cannot, and it hinders their growth. Like, they grow slower until they recognize that their pride is in the way of that growth, and they become teachable. One of the things that self-respect does for you is that it allows you to see from the point of view of others. And that is very significant for a leader and a business person. Because if you can always see from another person's perspective, you can understand it, you can appreciate it, you can adjust. Now, this is not me saying to you, like, dump your values. No. You have to know your values. Your values are your values. But at the same time, when your beliefs are hindering your business, and I'm talking about spiritual and stuff, and more cultural and stuff like that, and the way you're stuck on doing things, you find that you are not easy to change. You struggle to change. And listen, I had this conversation with someone this week, and we're talking about change, and we're talking about how it's difficult for most of us to change. Like, I eat certain things. Try to get me to try something new when it comes to food. It is so difficult. Like, I would look at you like you're trying to poison me. So as much as I say that I can change, most of us, we struggle to change, especially the older that we get. But one of the things to make for an entrepreneur to be successful is that we have to be able to be adaptable and to change. Also, when it comes to self-respect as a person, I had a conversation with someone sometimes. It was a quick thing. And I had made a decision earlier on in this year, or mid-year sort of. And I said to the person, I made this decision and all of that. And he said to me, actually, you know what? Sometimes it's all about self-respect. And I said to myself, you know what? I had not thought about it that way, because it's about setting boundaries and having enough respect in yourself to also do what is right for you. And in that whole space, I said, doing what is right for you, you kind of actually take care of others as well. So when it comes to business, you cannot be closed-minded, and pride makes you closed-minded. You have to be open-minded. You have to be open-minded. That's how you can be in partnership with others. If you have enough self-respect in yourself, you'll be able to recognize good partnerships better and quicker than somebody who is doing it for titles and pride. When you're looking for titles and chasing that next title, you might just stumble, and all of that. So we have to constantly be aware of it. I'll tell you something that happened to me. The best examples and the best teachers are actually you, like what you learned from things that happened to you and you learn from them. I was talking to someone and they were really telling me they had this idea and all of that. And I was listening to the idea, and I kind of redirected the conversation, and I said, listen, talk to that other person. But you know what? They were trying to tell me the entire idea. And I was trying to tell them, but tell the other person, because that person will action your idea. That person is the right person to carry it out. Now, while in my mind and to me, I was being helpful immediately by directing, in that moment, to the person that I was speaking to, they got offended because they felt that I wasn't listening to them completely. And the moment I realized that, I was like, oh, but why are you upset? It's not that I didn't hear you. I'm just trying to get you quicker to, for the execution and stuff. But immediately also I realized that that was also triggering, and I apologized. Immediately I stepped back and I said, I apologize. It was not my intention. And I left it at that. I didn't go further to try to justify why I redirected the conversation, because at that moment the person was offended. And it wasn't really that they did anything wrong. And I don't really think I did anything wrong in that moment. But as much as I have self-respect, they also had self-respect for themselves. And they were calling me out on something that I was doing that was offending them. Now, if my pride, or if I had pride in me in that moment, I could have said, no, but I did nothing wrong. I was just, and I'll stand my ground. I said, I was directing your conversation because there's nothing that I did wrong. I'm just trying to help you. Yes, I was, but the way I was doing it was wrong, you see. So as much as I was doing it for the right reasons, the way I was doing it was wrong. But the moment I let my pride speak, in that, I lose it. So that's why we have to be conscious of it. We have to be aware of it, so that we can actually grow as business people, so that we can attain the next height as business people, so that we can get to the next level as business people, so we don't cut ourselves at the heel as business people. You can't be working so hard and let your pride restrict you, hold you back from moving forward and attaining greater things. Okay, but also at the same time, have self-respect. Set boundaries. Know when to say no. Know when to leave a situation. Know when to leave a circumstance. And by all means, keep looking out for yourself and your community. And keep teaching. Keep leading by example. Because only when you call yourself out on your nonsense can you grow as a person as well. That is also self-respect, in a way. Have a good one, and keep growing as an entrepreneur, keep growing as a leader, remain teachable, and keep shining. Bye.